okay? So my name is Terra Lee Mays. I'm the manager of arts for Boys and Girls Clubs of Western Pennsylvania. And my job there is a big one. I'm trying to build comprehensive art program for the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm going to build visual arts, culinary arts, musical arts, performing arts, every kind of art. We're going to start at create a foundation. Believe it or not, a lot of these programs didn't really exist in these older organizations, you know, as a formal program. So, anyways. Today we're going to do culinary arts with CyberReach School. I'm very excited. This is my very first virtual teaching experience. Okay, we are going to make Vietnamese spring rolls. Okay, fresh spring rolls. When somebody says fresh spring rolls, that means it's kind of not cooked. It's not fried. It's made with rice paper. Okay, let's see if I can show it to you. Oops, oopsie. Okay, so these containers, when you buy them, are a little tricky, so you have to use a knife to break the seal. Okay. You always want, when you use a knife, you always want to push it away from your body. You never want to like pull towards your body. Okay. This is the proper way to hold a knife. I'm not sure if any of you have seen this before, but a lot of people will hold their knife like this, with their finger on the edge, and that works pretty well, like when you're at home. But if you're going to go into the culinary profession, which some of you might, you can actually take your knife and hold it with your fingers like that and wrap your whole hand around your blade, okay, so that you don't lose control. Okay, you have total control of that knife. When you do the one finger thing out here, you lose one finger of control on your knife. You just need to really have a sure hand on your knife. Okay, especially the sharp kitchen knives, the culinary knives. You know, they're sharpened and honed, and they're like razor sharp. So any little slip and you'll get a cut. So you want to always have control. Okay, that's good to know. The thing about fresh spring rolls is this. This is rice paper. And a lot of kids will laugh at this because it looks like really weird, you know. It looks like this hard, clear, semi-translucent paper, and it has this really cool pattern on it. But if you go on YouTube, which is wonderful, you guys have YouTube. When I was growing up, we had no internet whatsoever, so there was no YouTube, you know, and there was a phone hanging on the wall, so that just dated me. You can probably guess how old I am now. But so I was explaining how these are traditionally made, these rice papers. So they take the great big bamboo, sort of flat, roundish vessels, and they put it down into the water deep, and then they bring it up through all that cloudy color. And that cloudy stuff is rice starch and rice particles, and that lays on the bamboo, and then they dry it or cook it or heat it somehow. I'm not sure of that part, but and then it comes out like this. And then that's why you have like this pattern on it. Can you guys see that? Okay, so it's pretty cool. Also, when you see this process of how to use this, it gets really soft and pliable. Cake decorators will take these rice papers, and artists who use food products as artwork, I do, you can actually lay this on wax paper and make shapes and fans and waves, and you can add food coloring or acrylic paint, and it actually gets hard again, and you can make art out of rice paper. Alright, so we have peppers here. These are sweet peppers. Alright, you just buy them in a little bag like this. You can get them anywhere. Okay, I like using the small peppers versus the great big peppers, because if I'm teaching a bunch of different classes, I might only need like 4 or 5 of these peppers. Okay, so I can use one bag for 2 classes. Okay. When you are cooking and teaching in the culinary arts, a lot of things like that you have to think about. Convenience. When you're working in a kitchen, they'll have, you know, massive amounts of vegetables, and they'll buy in bulk. So that's completely different sort of scenario. So there you go. This is the chopped peppers. I just chopped some peppers. Okay, those are going to go into the spring rolls. We're going to have a whole medley of things. All right, so this is a whole bunch of fresh mint. And it has been cleaned. It's very affordable. I think this one was less than $2, okay? So you want to have some fresh mint for this, or you can use cilantro. To make spring rolls, the key ingredient in a spring roll, especially fresh spring rolls, is lettuce, okay? Whatever lettuce of your choice. Personally, I like to use butter lettuce, but I bought some spring mix, which is also very nice, okay? And I'm going to clean a handful of this before we even go any further. Now these, when you buy containers like this, they say that this has already been cleaned, okay? I never believe them, okay? And I would suggest that you go through your lettuces and clean them, okay? You can use a salad spinner. You can just use a little strainer, which I'm going to use. Because if you don't clean your lettuce, you know, there might be like a little bit of silt or dirt, especially down at the end of the lettuce leaf. There might be a lettuce piece that's gone bad. You ever seen a piece of slimy lettuce? You know, you don't want to eat that, okay? And there also might be slugs. Slugs are nature's gift, you know, and they love lettuce. So sometimes you'll see a slug in there. So you need to clean your vegetables. Now, so I got my lettuce. Here's another ingredient we're going to use. This is called tofu, okay? This is a bean curd product, okay? So it's made from, I'm sorry, a soy product, okay? Which is soybeans. And it's made into kind of a bean curd. And then it becomes tofu. And I always use the firm tofu. But this is what it looks like. Sorry. Right here. And you can even make your own tofu. Let's go back over what we have so far. We have the rice paper. We have lettuce right here. We have peppers. We have tofu. Now here's another thing we're going to put into our spring rolls today. You can make a spring roll with any protein you like I said. If you're vegetarian, you can use the tofu. Just the tofu and the vegetables. If you like seafood or meat, we're going to use some crab, some artificial crab stick, okay? I usually get this at the Asian market in the freezer section, and they're already made and wrapped individually. They're about this big. You can see that. Okay, you can also use shrimp. You can peel some shrimp, you know, and then when you wrap the spring roll, you put the pretty parts, or you might put the shrimp on the outside or the crab on the outside so people can see what's in there. This is kimchi, guys. This is a Korean national, like a Korean national product, okay? I know how to make my own kimchi, and I can give you guys that lesson too. But this is a fermented cabbage, Napa cabbage product, and it has red pepper flakes in it. And it's a little bit spicy, but it's a flavorful spicy. It's not like eating Tabasco sauce, which is more fumey. This has the red pepper, the Korean red pepper sauce put into this. And sometimes they put fish, oysters, things like that in that. This does not have the fish part in it, okay? But this is just a very good thing. It's good for everything. Gut health, they talk about gut health. This actually helps me digest food, okay? It's just a very tasty product. I need to back up a second though and tell you guys a little bit about why I'm into my Asian cooking and other cultural cooking. I am from South Korea. I was born in South Korea, but I was adopted to the United States when I was 10 months old. And my family is from rural Western Pennsylvania, and we grew up on a half farm. So we were country people. And my mom would go to the farm nearby and get like fresh milk from the cow with like cream on top, you know, and we would butcher our own animals and we would do all of that, and that was great. The one thing that she didn't realize, and that I also didn't realize and learned about later, was that I was semi-lactose intolerant. So for when I was young, I always had a stomach ache. I had a stomach ache for my whole young life, okay? And nobody back then talked about lactose intolerance, you know, not being able to eat a lot of dairy. So I grew up that way, no problem. But when I moved out and then went to college, I went to Slippery Rock University for the reason, the primary reason was they had 70 different exchange programs, and I wanted to go back to Korea to find out about my heritage. When I went back to Korea, guys, here's what happened. I found out that I was lactose intolerant. Most Koreans, I would say at least half, are, okay? And when you go to the Korean market or the Korean store, you don't see, like in the United States, you don't see walls and walls of different kinds of milks and cheeses. Their supply of dairy is much smaller in variety than ours because they don't drink it. They don't eat a lot of dairy or drink a lot of dairy. They do a lot of rice products. They do a lot of everything else but dairy. Here's the thing. I found out that that food works for me. That Asian food and Korean food in general makes me feel better on a regular basis. So I learned a lot in that experience, and I hope that as you guys get older and you try different kinds of food, or if you know a little bit about maybe some of your family's culture or ethnicity or location, that you try the food from that, you know, from that part of you.